Welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're looking at an article called Southern Summer, New Zealand's South Island.
So we get to look at New Zealand. And if you guys are not totally sure, that's those group of islands that are off the coast of Australia, but I would guess that most people know or have heard of New Zealand. And have you been there? Do you know much about it?
I haven't been to New Zealand, but as I grew up playing a lot of rugby, New Zealand's a very famous place for the sport of rugby because they have their very famous team called the New Zealand All Blacks, and they're always one of the best teams in the world and super exciting to watch.
Ooh, that's very cool. Yeah, I don't know that much about it. My parents have been to New Zealand and they've also been to Australia and they've kind of done a whole tour of that area, but I didn't get to join them. But I would like to go because I would like to see all of the Lord of the Rings filming locations or go visit the Shire and see where the hobbits used to live. I know that they filmed a lot of it in New Zealand, and when I was growing up, I really liked those movies. So if I went to visit, that would be the only thing that I would know beforehand where to go to visit. The other things about it, I don't know that much about it.
Okay, yeah, well, New Zealand is a place that often gets left off of a lot of maps. There's a lot of maps where they just kind of forget to put New Zealand on there, and people from New Zealand are always kind of upset about this because everyone knows about Australia, but why don't people know more about New Zealand? So today we're going to learn some things about New Zealand, and in particular the South Island of New Zealand. So let's take a look.
February presents the perfect opportunity to explore New Zealand's South Island, when warm summer weather and long days create ideal conditions for outdoor adventures. This beautiful island has diverse scenery from sunny beaches and green forests to towering mountain peaks. It's a paradise for travelers who love nature and excitement. At the northern tip of the island lies Abel Tasman National Park, an excellent place to begin your journey. The park's golden beaches and coastal forests offer the perfect location for activities in the fresh air.
All right, so we are going to get into our article today, and it is Southern Summer, New Zealand's South Island, and this is day 1.
All right, let's get into it. February presents the perfect opportunity to explore New Zealand's South Island, when warm summer weather and long days create ideal conditions for outdoor adventures. All right, so you might not think of February as being summer, but of course New Zealand is in the southern hemisphere where their seasons are reversed. So when we are having winter here, they are enjoying summer in places like New Zealand and Australia.
Yes, and I always think that's interesting because I think of Christmas as being a white Christmas, but then they would have a very hot, sunny Christmas, and I always thought that was interesting. Anyway, so back to the article, it says, this beautiful island has diverse scenery from sunny beaches and green forests to towering mountain peaks. It's a paradise for travelers who love nature and excitement. Okay, so we see here that the terrain and the landscape and the different scenery here is very diverse. So diverse is an adjective that means lots of different kinds or many different types of something. And in this case, we're talking about different types of landscape because you went from the coast to the mountains. And so you've got all these different types. It's not just a flat grassland where everything looks the same. And our example sentence says, the shopping mall offers diverse food options from sushi to pizza. So there are many, many different restaurants there that are all different types of food so that you have diverse options.
All right, and we're talking about the scenery of this place. So scenery means all of the natural features of a place that can be seen. And we particularly use this word when we're talking about something beautiful, something that looks nice. Usually if you're talking about looking at the scenery, it means it's a nice place to look at. So example sentence, the film was shot in a place with amazing scenery. All right, so scenery, diverse scenery is one reason to go to New Zealand, and we're going to learn some more reasons after we go to Hanny.Hello，
大家好，我是 Hanny。这次要介绍的旅游地点是纽西兰南岛。2月是探索纽西兰南岛的绝佳时机，因为这时候是他们的夏季。温暖的天气和漫长的白昼为户外探险创造了理想条件。那这座美丽岛屿有海滩、森林、高山等等多样的景观。对于热爱大自然与刺激的旅人而言，这边就是天堂。好，单字 diverse 或是念作 diverse， 它是形容各式各样的、不同的、多元的。Scenery 则是指风景、景色，注意它是不可数名词。Sam 老师刚刚有用到 terrain 这个字。Terrain 这个名词它是指地形、地势，而 Matt 老师在讲到南半球季节相反时，有提到 Southern Hemisphere 就是南半球，还用到动词 reverse。reverse 这个字可以表达使颠倒、使反转的意思。那我们接着回课文中。
All right, now let's get back to the article.At the northern tip of the island lies Abel Tasman National Park, an excellent place to begin your journey.
Yes, and so then it says, the park's golden beaches and coastal forests offer the perfect location for activities in the fresh air. So it really does sound like a place that you could go if you enjoy doing outdoorsy, naturey things. It sounds like a very amazing and beautiful place.Yeah,
it sounds like a great place to do for an outdoorsy person. But I'm not much of an outdoorsy person, so...
then maybe you shouldn't go.
Well, we'll see. All right, well, let's go to Hanny now.
课文提到，在岛屿的北端坐落着亚伯塔斯曼国家公园，是展开旅程的绝佳地点。那公园的金色海滩跟海岸森林为户外活动提供了完美地点，很适合喜欢户外活动的人。老师们这时候用到 outdoorsy 这个形容词，就是形容喜欢户外活动的。那看到这个段落的第一个句子，他写说 At the northern tip of the island lies Abel Tasman National Park， 在岛屿的北端坐落着亚伯塔斯曼国家公园。这个它是地方副词或地方副词片语置于句首的倒装句。那我们来学习地方副词或地方副词片语置于句首，主词跟动词就必须倒装，句型会是地方副词或地方副词片语加上动词或 be 动词，再加主词。举例来说，A scary monster lived in the cave. 我们现在把地方副词片语 in the cave 移到句首，然后经过倒装就变成了 In the cave lived a scary monster. 洞穴里住着一只恐怖的怪物。好，那要注意，如果主词是代名词就不用倒装了。像 Here comes the bus. 公车来了。我们现在把例句里面 the bus 改成代名词 it， 句子会写作 Here it comes。那就可以看到动词 comes 它是维持在主词 it 后方，并没有倒装。那我们接着回课文中。
All right, thanks, Hanny. Okay, so today we've learned about a couple of things that you might find interesting to explore in the South Island of New Zealand, but we've got more to learn in the second part of the article, so we'll be right back.
You can hike along sections of the famous Abel Tasman Coast Track, one of New Zealand's great walks. Along the way, keep your eyes open for dolphins playing in the waters and native birds calling from the trees. Heading south, you'll discover an alpine lake. Lake Wanaka is home to one of the island's most unusual attractions, the famous Wanaka tree. This willow gracefully stands alone in the lake's clear waters and has captured the hearts of photographers who travel there to snap the perfect shot. Summer's clear skies and comfortable weather make it an excellent time for kayaking around the tree or enjoying a lakeside walk while taking in the atmosphere.
All right, so we are back and we are still looking at the southern island in New Zealand and what types of things you can see and do there. And so we're going to get right back into the article and find out more. And so it says, you can hike along sections of the famous Abel Tasman Coast Track, one of New Zealand's great walks. Now, these great walks, there are 11 official great walks in New Zealand, and these are all multi-day travel hikes, basically. And so they're very, very long stretches of beautiful scenery that you can camp along or you can walk along and stay in different places. So if you are a big hiker, then New Zealand is a great place for you to visit.
Continuing with our article, along the way, keep your eyes open for dolphins playing in the waters and native birds calling from the trees. All right, so New Zealand, I know, has a lot of native birds because they don't have a lot of predators that hunt birds there, and that's why they're very strict about stray cats in New Zealand because those can harm the native birds.
Okay, that makes sense. And as we see, if we continue on, there's still just so much to see and do. So it says, heading south, you'll discover an alpine lake. Lake Wanaka is home to one of the island's most unusual attractions, the famous Wanaka tree. So we have this lake, but it's famous because there's a tree there that apparently a lot of people like to go and visit. And so I think we'll find out a little more about that in a minute. But first we have this word attraction. Attraction is a noun, and when we're using this word attraction in the sense of tourism or traveling to places, it means something that is famous or interesting about that location that people want to go and see. So you might go to Taiwan and Taipei, to the main attraction might be Taipei 101. And in our example sentence, we have Big Ben is a famous attraction in London. So something that you are interested to go see, a landmark, a building, anything like that.
Or in this case, a tree.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll find out more about the tree after we go to Hanny.
课文建议我们沿着著名的亚伯塔斯曼海岸步道健行，那沿途中可以留意一下在水中嬉戏的海豚，还有在林间鸣叫的本土鸟类。Matt 老师提到，纽西兰有许多本土原生鸟类，因为比较少掠食者。老师说的 predator 就是掠食性动物或是掠食者。那这边有2个重点，第一个是 along the way 的意思。首先，它可以表达沿途、沿路上，这时候也可以写作 on the way， 后面可以接 to 加名词来表达在往什么什么的路上。举例来说 ，They stopped at a convenience store along the way。他们途中在一家便利商店停留。第二个意思可以表达在什么什么过程中，在点点点期间。例如 ，Success is rarely achieved without failure along the way。成功的路上难免会遭遇失败。第二个重点是 keep one's eyes open for somebody or something， 这是表达留意、密切注意什么什么的出现。这个片语意思就跟 keep an eye out for 加上 somebody or something 相同。那注意后者这个用法呢，它会固定用单数 an eye 去表示。例如 Sean always keeps his eyes open， 或者是 keeps an eye out for cheap flights。 Sean 总是留意廉价航班。好，那我们课文接着就提到说，往南走你会发现一座高山湖泊。瓦纳卡湖它拥有岛上最不寻常的景点，也就是大名鼎鼎的瓦纳卡树。好，这边用到单字 attraction 就是指景点，具有吸引力的事物，是当名词。那我们接着回到课文里。
So let's get back to the article. This willow gracefully stands alone in the lake's clear waters and has captured the hearts of photographers who travel there to snap the perfect shot. So this is the tree that we're talking about, the famous attraction. It is a willow tree and it's standing gracefully in this lake. So if something does something gracefully, well, that's an adverb. So it means it is done in a smooth, gentle, elegant, and attractive way. So in this sense, the tree is standing gracefully. It means it looks very attractive. People like to see it. It feels good to look at it because it is so graceful. An example sentence, Tina's cat jumped gracefully from the table to the floor.
Tina's cat is a lot more graceful than my cat. She would just fall to the floor. Anyway, so we also had this word photographer, and a photographer is just a person who likes to take pictures. Now, you can say that you are a photographer if you're just taking pictures with your phone, but usually this word is used for people who are more on the professional side. Maybe they are paid to take pictures, or they have really nice equipment and cameras. So you can be an amateur photographer, you could be a professional photographer, but basically you like to take pictures and you really care and take good pictures. And so our example sentence says, the photographer asked us to smile before taking the photo. Now we continue on with our article. It says, summer's clear skies and comfortable weather make it an excellent time for kayaking around the tree or enjoying a lakeside walk while taking in the atmosphere. So again, we have this really pretty lake. There's just this one, if you ever look up pictures, there's like one tree that's just kind of there in the middle, and it's very beautiful. And so you might walk around it or even kayak around it.
Okay, we have a word in there which is atmosphere. And atmosphere is a noun that we use to talk about the general feeling or mood of a place or situation. So we have an example sentence, the cafe has a warm and friendly atmosphere. Okay, now it's time to go to Hanny.
刚刚说到大名鼎鼎的瓦纳卡树，那这棵柳树它优雅独自矗立在清澈的湖水当中，吸引了许多摄影师前往拍摄。那你还可以在树的周围划独木舟，或者是享受湖边散步，去感受那边的氛围。好，单字 gracefully 这个副词表示优雅的、优美的。photographer 表示摄影师 ，atmosphere 则是指气氛、氛围。那我们接滑课文中。
Okay, so we have learned a little bit about New Zealand's southern island. We learned a little bit about the Abel Tasman National Park, the Great Walks. We've looked a little bit at the Lake Wanaka with the Wanaka, that famous Wanaka tree. And so those are just a few things that you could do if you visited the southern island of New Zealand. And tomorrow, after you guys review this article and come back tomorrow, then we are going to look at even more of the things that you can do if you went to visit.
February presents the perfect opportunity to explore New Zealand's South Island, when warm summer weather and long days create ideal conditions for outdoor adventures. This beautiful island has diverse scenery, from sunny beaches and green forests to towering mountain peaks. It's a paradise for travelers who love nature and excitement. At the northern tip of the island lies Abel Tasman National Park, an excellent place to begin your journey. The park's golden beaches and coastal forests offer the perfect location for activities in the fresh air. You can hike along sections of the famous Abel Tasman Coast Track, one of New Zealand's great walks. Along the way, keep your eyes open for dolphins playing in the waters and native birds calling from the trees. Heading south, you'll discover an alpine lake. Lake Wanaka is home to one of the island's most unusual attractions, the famous Wanaka tree. This willow gracefully stands alone in the lake's clear waters and has captured the hearts of photographers who travel there to snap the perfect shot. Summer's clear skies and comfortable weather make it an excellent time for kayaking around the tree or enjoying a lakeside walk while taking in the atmosphere.
最后，我们来复习今天课文里的单字文法。单字的部分有 diverse 或是 diverse， 它是形容各式各样的、不同的、多元的。scenery 表示风景、景色。attraction 表示景点、具有吸引力的事物。gracefully 这个副词表示优雅的、优美的。再看到 photographer， 它是摄影师，是名词。atmosphere 是指气氛、氛围，也是名词。 文法的部分，第一个学到地方副词或地方副词片语摆在句首的倒装句，那句型是地方副词或地方副词片语加动词或 be 动词加主词。要注意，如果主词是代名词，就不用倒装咯。第二个学到 along the way 的意思，那首先可以表达沿途、沿路上，那它还可以表达在什么过程中，在什么期间。第三个我们学到 keep one's eyes open for somebody or something， 这是表达留意、密切注意什么什么的出现。好，那以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Welcome to Which One Fits, the game where we tackle confusing English words.
I'm really excited about this one.
Today, we're going to sort out the difference between hear and listen.
Let's quickly go over the rules before we start.
In Which One Fits, we'll read a sentence with a blank, and you have to choose between hear and listen.
So join us and challenge your English intuition.
All right, here comes your first sentence. I can't blank the TV because it's too quiet. Which one fits?
That would be hear.
Spot on. Hear is when sound reaches your ears whether you're paying attention or not. And your next one is please blank carefully to the instructions before starting the experiment. Which one fits?
That must be listen.
Correct again. To listen is to pay attention to a sound in order to understand it. You really nailed that one. All right, time to break it down.
First, hear is a verb that describes the act of perceiving sound with your ears. For example, I can hear birds singing outside.
Right. Hear happens naturally and does not require effort.
Now, listen is also a verb, but it means intentionally paying attention to sound. For example, she listened carefully to the teacher's explanation.
You listen when you make an effort to gather information, understand a message, or follow a conversation.
Simply put, hearing is picking up a sound, and listening is actively trying to comprehend it.
It can be confusing at first, but it becomes easier with practice.
And get this, a sentence can use both words. I tried to listen to what my friend was saying, but I couldn't hear him over the party noise.
So hear becomes listen when you give the sound your attention.
Right. And now you'll never mix them up again.
Until next time, stay curious.
Bye-bye.